Hello, BookTube. I have a weird kind of mail haul here. It's kind of a mail haul Act 2. I did a mail haul yesterday. I filmed a mail haul yesterday. And some of you Donoghue completists out there might be saying, no, you didn't. I did. I even mentioned it in one of the videos that I uploaded. I made like a 40-minute mail haul yesterday, and I didn't upload it. And the reason for that is because in the middle of it, you can't redo a mail haul. In the middle of it, I went off on a tangent. 30 of those 40 minutes were a rant. And it seemed churlish to do, especially since it was a rant about books that were sent to me by a publisher. That's a very nice thing for publishers to do. It just didn't seem right to do. It seemed kind of predictable. And so with a heavy heart, I did not upload that video. I deleted it instead. But it occurred to me that we could try it again, that maybe you can redo a mail haul. So I'm going to try it again. I've got one package that isn't opened here, so you'll have the thrill of opening a package together. I have a set of books that I want to show you, and I also have a magazine that I want to talk about just a little. That's most of what that mail haul was yesterday, and only this time I'm going to control myself so that there is no rant. And because I am totally unpredictable, you will never be able to guess from this video what sparked that rant yesterday. So don't even try. So the first thing I want to talk about is The New Yorker. I just recently re-upped my subscription to The New Yorker. And I did it mainly for the books coverage, but I'm having a blast. So I'm certainly going to continue to subscribe to The New Yorker, no matter how much money they want from me. And I love this issue. Thought it was terrific. The cover's a little bit silly. Because this last winter, New York got one semi-serious snowstorm. One. And the rest of it, blue skies, clear, dry ground. So this is someone shoveling out the top of the Empire State Building belongs to winters past. But the thing I want to bring up here is not part of the articles. It's a letter that I want to read to you and then sort of sound you out on. The letter is from Alicia Kershaw in New York City. And she's responding to a previous piece in The New Yorker about working from home, about the post-office environment of the pandemic. And she writes this: John Seabrook's piece about the post-pandemic future of the office covered a number of important topics related to working from home. Two other factors are worth considering. First, remote working pushes the cost of maintaining office space onto employees. Some companies do offer stipends for office technology and at-home setups like chairs and Wi-Fi. I really didn't understand that. Everybody had chairs and Wi-Fi. You don't need to be paid for that. But one way or another. But many employees end up shouldering the majority of these costs. Again, I want to stress, you had those things already. You had chairs and Wi-Fi already. The fact that you're using them for work, well, that's the start of another conversation, but it's not like you should be reimbursed for those things. You had them already. This country just shot through and through with greed. But I don't think that was the author's intent, so let's just go on. I'll try not to interrupt her again. We must ask who benefits from the ostensible savings represented by home offices. Of course, the employer benefits. They're not maintaining an office building anymore. Why must we ask that when the answer is self? Oh, I said I wouldn't interrupt her again. I said that just a second ago. All right, let's go on. Let's go on. For many employees, especially parents, working at home is much harder and sometimes more costly than working in the office. The second factor involves office dynamics. With people at home, there are likely fewer opportunities for sexual harassment and other detrimental encounters between colleagues, and any attacks can be recorded. Although working from home could be less safe for those facing domestic violence, many employees may find that it eases their interactions in the office. And that made me endlessly curious. I thought it was a fascinating letter and fascinating things to bring up. This is a seismic change that has affected almost all of us. Hundreds of thousands of businesses have gone remote. Basically all the businesses that can go remote have gone remote. And in previous years, used to be that maybe in your business, maybe Wednesday and Friday would be work from home days. But the rest of the time you're expected to go to the office. And the idea was, kind of the assumption underneath that was that that was the very most that you could do from home and that you really needed to go to the office the rest of those days. And the pandemic, 2020, showed that's not true. In a huge number of businesses in America and around the world, 2020 showed that all the work could be done from home. All of it could be done remotely. And if that's true, then your company doesn't need to pay for that big building. They don't need to pay the exorbitant rent to lease office space in a tower in New York City. They don't need to do that. And that's fascinating. That is going to cause a seismic shift in the work-person relationship, I think. Because I don't think people are going to hurry back to those office buildings once things go back to normal, if they ever do. if they ever do go back to normal, and suddenly offices think that the cost ratio is okay to pack people into offices again, I'm not sure that they will anyway. What office would voluntarily pay, what business would voluntarily pay an extra expense, especially a huge one, that they don't need to pay? And the letter made me curious to stick my nose into your lives, which is one of my favorite things to do. Tell me about your own work. Tell me about your own work. Did you once go to an office, and are you now working remotely? And how has it changed things? Those of you who are parents, is it true that it's harder for you? Because how do you tell a little kid, yes, I'm here, but I'm really not. I'm going to be in this room and I can't be interrupted. I want to hear all about that. I also want to hear if you have any stories, horror stories or otherwise. I want to hear what maybe steps your employer is taking to address this seismic change. I've seen some employers who are worried about accountability. In other words, they want to be able to watch their employees and maybe browbeat them. And they can't do that as effectively if the employee is at home. I've known some examples where employers are saying that employees have to check in once an hour on their computer at a certain program that facilitates that, just to make sure that they are home and that they are working. Things like that, punitive a-hole things like that. And I'm wondering, are you encountering any of that? I'm wondering how your work has changed along the lines of that letter. I think that would be fascinating for me to poke my nose into your business and find out. But that was the letter that I read you. Then I want to show you a book collection, because it is eye-poppingly gorgeous. And I want to make sure you know that it exists, so that if you want it, you can buy it. I'm pretty sure you can get all of these individually as volumes, but I'm pretty sure that probably you get them as a set as well. This is the Penguin Vitae line, which has existed before. I'm pretty sure there are previous titles, but Penguin Random House was kind enough to send me the latest batch of them. And they are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. This is the set. They are naked hardcovers with embossed covers, and I want to show you them. They all have these longitudinal cover designs. This is Souls of Black Folk. And here you get, look at the designs on the inside. You get the book plate there if you want to sign your name in it. You get these end papers, just beautiful stuff. You get an embossed and indented cover, no folderol, no summary or anything like that. So that's Souls of Black Folk. Then Not Without Laughter, Langston Hughes. So this is a way to show you that whoever is governing this reprint line knows to pick winners. They know to pick really good stuff. And that's going to become apparent with one of the books I'm going to show you later on. But this is great to have a beautiful hardcover edition of this by Langston Hughes. That's fantastic. Then what else we got here? Oh, yes, Little Women. And this lovely thing, this lovely Penguin hardcover. Look at that. How wonderful. And these are, as far as I can tell, these are the latest Penguin editions of these books if you're worried about the content. So you're getting the latest Penguin edition of Little Women or Souls of Black Folk or whatever. You'll have the same introduction and you'll have the same editor and the same notes, but just in a prettier setup. Like We Have Always Lived in the Castle, Shirley Jackson, carefully designed cover. All the covers are designed to connote the book in one way or another. And we have The Age of Innocence by my beloved Edith Wharton. Look at how lovely this thing is. I mean, even if you don't get it in a set, this is still a lovely edition of The Age of Innocence to have on your shelf. Leave it to Penguin. And then probably in this batch, the thing that made me the happiest of all, Winter in the Blood by James Welch. Amazing. This is a great author who doesn't get the kind of reprint attention that he deserves. Not at all. Winter in the Blood is probably my favorite book, but why his paperbacks aren't in print all the time, I don't know, because they are all really good. And in case you're wondering what the Penguin Vitae line is, let me give you, there's a note in here from the publisher. What classic books would you place together on a shelf to represent the course of your life? This is the question that sparks our hardcover series, Penguin Vitae, or loosely translated, Penguin of One's Life. A diverse world of storytellers from the past speak to us at pivotal chapters of our lives and connect a community of readers across time and generations. Penguin Vitae invites readers to curate their own personal Penguin Classics canon from this series and to discover other seminal works of timeless inspiration, intellectual engagement, and creative originality. To enrich the reader's experience of these gift editions, Paul Buckley designs the bold typographic covers. So these covers are all made by somebody named Paul Buckley. And he does a fantastic job. It's just fantastic. We hope you find yourself within Penguin Vitae, discover something new, and share these classic books with others. And I cannot make that recommendation strongly enough. If you are an aesthetic book buyer, which some of you know I'm not particularly, but I know a lot of you are, and I think it's great. I think it's always interesting to see. If you're an aesthetic book buyer, then my oh my, do you have a new delight. I don't know when. These are probably out already, and I'm pretty sure these aren't the first editions in the Penguin Vitae line. I'm pretty sure I've seen another set. I don't think I got it, but I'm very happy to have this set, especially since there are a few of these books that I don't have in any other format. I don't have any James Welch at the moment. This is it. So it's going to be very tempting to just reread this thing right away. The only caveat that I would offer, in a very controlled manner, for that publisher note, for the Penguin Vitae system, is that you can tell from these titles. Now, I don't know about previous titles, but you can tell from this set something is missing from this set. And you can tell right away what it is. And it's not a type of writing or a time period of writing. It's white men are missing from this set. And that the language of that publisher note, that you want to curate a canonical collection that reflects you, and that's diverse, could be interpreted as an invitation to create a shelf of books for your own collection, intentionally excluding heterosexual white men. It would be possible to read that publisher note as an invitation to welcome the exclusion here that's going on. Now, I don't know if that exclusion is procedural or just random. It could be that I got this batch and there's no heterosexual white men in here, or it could be that Penguin Vitae is an imprint of Penguin that is designed to exclude heterosexual white men, and there won't be any anywhere in it ever. And I hope that's not the case. I'm going to be happy to see these volumes anyway, because they are beautiful. These are beautiful volumes. They're beautifully done. Leave it to Penguin to do something this pretty. I hope that that is not the policy, and I want to very calmly say that the English language already has words for you that describe you if you intentionally exclude people from your life, or in this case your reading experience, on the basis of their sexual orientation or their gender or their skin color. The English language already has words for you, what you are, if you do that. And those words are not progressive or inclusive. The only point I want to make is that making that kind of an exclusion is wrong. It is very, very wrong. No matter how beautiful the volumes are, and I'm sure this is not what the editor or the publisher is calling for. I just want to stress, just the happenstance of the books that I got here, I want to stress that if you intentionally exclude someone from your acquaintance, be it in person or on the written page, on the basis of their sexual orientation, their gender, or their skin color, there are words to describe you, and they are not progressive. That is not inclusive. That is by definition exclusive. Just wanted to make that point very calmly, and then we'll move straight on very quickly to our one package. We have one package here. There's bound to be more today, but this was, I wanted to make sure we had at least one package that we could open together, so you don't caterwaul. So what have we got here? Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. All right, we think we've already seen this, but now I have the finished copy, and the finished copy is lovely. Oh my. Okay. Okay. I think this comes out in March. I've already read it, but I'm gladly going to read it again. Gladly, because I really liked it. This is by Toby Pearl, and it's called Terror to the Wicked, America's first trial by jury that ended a war and helped form a nation. And it's got this sticker on it, a between the chapters pick. What is that? Can one of you tell me what that is? I have no idea what a between the chapters pick is. The sticker's coming right off. If it can come off, it's coming right off. But I don't know what that is. Is that really good news for the author? But anyway, let me just in case there are quite a few of you who are new here, let me describe what this is. The year is 1638. The setting is Providence, near Plymouth Colony. A young Nipmuc tribesman returning home from trading beaver pelts is fatally stabbed in a robbery in the woods near Plymouth Colony by a vicious white runaway indentured servant. The tribesman, fighting for his life, is able, with his final breath, to reveal the details of the attack to Providence's governor, Roger Williams. A frantic manhunt by the fledgling government ensues to capture a killer and his gang, now the most hunted men in the New World. This is the first time that something like this happened. And indentured servitude was a system that existed back in the time where it was basically financial slavery. And I always love the kind of arrogance that a lot of modern day history ignoramuses will mention when they mention how good it is that it was discarded. I always want to chuckle a little bit at that. I always want to say to people like that, are you being paid what you're worth? Right now, if I asked you to, could you raise $3,000 in cash without borrowing it at usurious interest rates? No? Is it no to both those questions? Or you're going to tell me that indentured servitude is gone? Anyway, with their capture, the 2-year Plymouth colony faces overnight its first trial, a murder trial, with Plymouth's governor presiding as judge and prosecutor, interviewing witnesses and defendants alike, and Miles Standish, Plymouth colony's authority as overseer in the courtroom, his sidearm at the ready. So these are names you already know, but you don't know this story. Most likely, you don't know the story. The jury, Plymouth colonists, New England farmers, white, male, picked from a total population of 550, knows from past persecution the horrors of a society without a jury system. So I'm not really sure what that white and male is, but nevertheless, they know already how important this is. The colony knew right away how important it was to go and find the killer. And everybody in the room knows how important it is to do this and to do it by the book. Would they be tempted to protect their own over the life of a tribesman who had fought in a war allied against them? Toby Pearl brings to life those caught up in the drama. Roger Williams, founder of the Plymouth colony, a self-taught expert in indigenous cultures, and the first investigator of the murder. Miles Standish, Edward Winslow, the former governor of the Plymouth colony and the master of the indentured servant and accused murderer. John Winthrop, the governor of Massachusetts Bay Colony, the men on trial for the murder, and the lone tribesman from the last of the woodland American Indians whose life was brutally taken from him. And as you can tell from that description, this involves a huge amount of digging around, which is one of my favorite kinds of volumes of history. Is the author had to dig around for a lot of these details. And she does a terrific job. Just terrific. I don't know how to praise it highly enough. Let's tell you a little bit about the author. That is our author. And she earned a degree in law and international relations from Boston University and studied international law at the University of Hong Kong. She's practiced law and taught at Emerson College, and she lives in South Florida and New England. And I don't know when this book comes out, as I don't have a pub sheet, which is one of the things I miss about pub sheets, but I recommend it. I really do, especially you history buffs. You're going to want to read something like this. It's history done just right. Just right. Where it remembers that it is supposed to be an entertaining story. It uncovers a lot of stuff that you didn't know and that maybe has never been written about in this kind of book-length form. And it does it all with a good degree of intellectual acumen and no real ideological axis to grind. That can't be praised high enough. It happens quite a bit in any American publishing season. I'm always happy to praise it whenever it does. So very glad to have a finished copy of this. Very nice. So that is your Mail Hall Redux. Okay? It's only 20 minutes long, and it was very controlled, very civil. So we have Terror to the Wicked, a work of popular history that's either out right now or coming out soon that I recommend. I strongly recommend it. You will enjoy it. And then the latest volumes in the Penguin Vitae system. Just lovely. Just lovely things to have on your shelf. And also, these Penguin volumes are really good. With a couple of exceptions. There are a couple of introductions here I could have done without. But for the most part, and of course the notes in Penguin are great. So you have a new set of classics coming out that I just wanted to make sure you knew about. That's all, because they're very attractive. And you might want to add some of them to your shelf or to get them as presents. So there you go. That's the Mail Hall. We're gonna close this up now, and I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.